With us today is Dr. Mary Thomas, and she's worked as a school psychologist at St. Xavier High School for 10 years before moving to school administration. She's recently teamed up with CISE to look into adding new opportunities for students at Cincinnati's inner city schools. Mary, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Mary, why don't you tell us what your job is going to be working with CISE? Because I'm real excited what you're going to be doing.
Terrific. I have been gifted the opportunity to spend the next 12 months working with the CISE team to do a feasibility to look at how do we build out opportunities for career and technical exploration for our students within the CISE system.
I know we were talking, just the last time we were here, we were talking about the whole question of, with technical schools, and a lot of people, they're just college isn't the thing for them, but there's a great need for technical workers and just good old-fashioned hard work jobs of plumbers, electricians, and all those kind of things. And, vocational schools, the public schools have them, but Catholic schools really never got into that. They're all college prep. And I think the last time we were talking, we were saying, why couldn't we start a vocational kind of school?
I couldn't agree more. Why couldn't we start up a career technical?
So your job is to search all that information out, huh?
So my number one priority is to take a look at what's already happening in our schools and also take a look at what business and industry is curious about in terms of workforce development, and then look at a pathway to ensure that our students are not only prepared for college, but also well-informed about careers and ultimately prepared for a lifetime.
Do you know any of the statistics about the number that are going into more vocational work?
I can tell you that our career and technical public schools in Cincinnati are turning away 400% of the number of students who've applied into their lottery.
They just don't have the space.
They just do not have the space. I have had the great fortune of working with Leah Amstutz, who is the director of career and technical at Ohio Department of Ed. And she said throughout Ohio, as soon as they build a career technical center, it is already to capacity.
Yeah, I guess there's the Oaks program, I guess, in Cincinnati, or there's like 5 or 6 different throughout the city, and they're all pretty busy from what I can tell.
They all have multiple wait lists, and I will tell you that a dear friend of mine, John Graft, who is the superintendent of Butler Tech Career Center, they will be launching 2 new campuses in the fall in order to address capacity needs.
Wow. So, Dr. Thomas, how is that going to, you say a feasibility study? I guess there's several things you got to look at. One is the need, and then the other is the resources, and then you got to think about the wider education, because besides the technicals, they still got to learn their reading and writing and arithmetic and religion. They still have those kind of things, and that's quite a tall order.
It is a tall order, but I think what is exciting about the feasibility is to take a look at the success that we already have in Catholic schools. We know, especially with the CISE students, that our kids are well equipped to graduate from high school and go to college. What it reminds us of, though, is that we have roughly 10% of our kids who have not been exposed to career pathways or technical training that would skill them and complement what they're already getting from the academic side of our schooling. You couple that in addition with the whole person development that the Catholic system does so well. What it does is it opens up this sliver of opportunity, which is really the career and technical component that we would like to explore and expand upon.
Okay, so do you have a committee involved with carrying out all this information, gathering all this information, huh?
So Phil and Kate and I have started to work with one of the subcommittees of the board to take a look at interest and inquiry and to look at Ohio Means Jobs data and what our in-demand needs are. So yes, we are working together with this team to build out a plethora of data that will help us determine what is that path forward for career technical.
Okay, we're speaking today with Dr. Mary Thomas about a new program that's being looked into regarding creating a technical high school for CISE students here in Cincinnati, and they're forming a kind of a group to feel everything out and all those things that need to go on with those. Have you done this kind of stuff before?
So I have been interested in career and technical for about the past 10 years, and I have not developed a program, but I certainly built a framework for career technical pathways within a faith-based system. And so the opportunity to come to CISE in 2023 is really calling upon some of my past research and past experience and to look for ways to bring it to life.
So if they were going to, say, take kind of a college prep route versus a vocational route, how would that education look different?
I don't think it's going to look too different. I think the state of Ohio has helped us to understand what are those essential high school credits that all students need to have. What it will look different is to begin to look at some of the elective courses that they take and to build out hands-on learning experiences through pre-apprenticeships and apprenticeships. And so what the students in this particular area would begin to do is to apply their learning to careers and to trades in a way where they can really test out how it feels to them.
Well, it makes sense then that you want to get in touch with the industries of the area to have those kind of, recognize that they're helping form a future workforce for them. And of course, they'd be definitely willing to support that because it's just hard to find people that want to go into that. And I don't know why, because my grandfather was an electrician and his brother was an electrician. So we come from a long line. My dad was a paper maker. And so we came from a long line of people not going to college, but they sure were able to carry out quite a successful career.
I think there's a great opportunity for us to re-message and re-market what it means to be prepared for a lifetime. And I think what we are seeing, especially from our Ohio Means Job data, is that we have positions that are left unfilled. We have careers that are going unfilled because so many young people are seeing the only end point is college. And for us to help them to see that there are multiple trajectories that will lead you to a lifetime of impact to make the community a better place.
I know one thing definitely because some of the young people I know, their number one concern and the reason of moving towards this is, Father, I don't want these big student loans to have to pay. And the thing is, when you go into a vocational thing, you get paid as you go through the whole process. And so you're already being able to at least make a little bit of money and grow in your profession.
Absolutely. One of the greatest things about career technical is the opportunity to build out industry credentials. And so what it shows to that employer is you have the skills and you have mastered the competencies of those industry skills in order to be hired on and to have that appropriate wage come with the work that you're doing. And so for students, it allows them to go into the workforce and to have that nice salary that allows them to have a healthy living.
How long is this feasibility study going to take? Because you're just starting it now, so we can't expect a big, in terms of very quickly. But how long do you think this will take?
I think that the 12 months that CISE has put out as the term for the feasibility makes good sense. What it will allow us to do is to use quarter benchmarks to see what our data is telling us in terms of student needs, community needs, and to do it in a way that is allowing us to act and be contemplative in terms of the impact that we will be making in the industry. That's
very important because, again, when doing this, when we think about vocational schools, it's not like you can go for any vocation. There'll be some that'll be highlighted. Of course, probably the big one is IT. That's the big one. Everyone is, you got to learn coding. That seems to be the big thing to do, and also some of the other professions. But as high schools can't provide them all. So I guess hopefully in your study you'll find out which are the most needed and also the most desired. Huh?
And that is also why it's so important to partner with business leaders in the community to help us match our Ohio Means Jobs data along with what they are seeing within their industry to match up what are those high demand, high need workforce development areas for us to begin to provide students with the skills and training to go into those areas.
Okay, we've been talking today with Dr. Mary Thomas, who has been chosen by CISE to begin a feasibility study to work on new opportunities for students at Cincinnati CISE schools in the technical realm, as well as Mr. McHugh, who's the executive director of CISE. If people want to find out more about CISE, Mr. McHugh, where can people go?
They can always go to our website, and that's www.cisekids. We at CISE are very excited about this initiative because, as you know, Father Rob, our mission is to improve lives, and this is an extension of that, and we're just delighted to welcome Mary to our team, and we look forward to the results of this feasibility study.
Well, it's a wonderful idea, and hopefully the Catholic schools of Cincinnati will get in on this too. It'd be a great opportunity.
Absolutely. We'll make this available to as many people as we can because we want to make this community a better place for all of us.
Well, thank you both for being with us today.